Alright, hello. I'm going to try another tutorial here, and in this tutorial we are going to go over how to speed paint a yellow on one of these mountain men, the banner bearer. So just like last time with the Lannisters, although this video I promise I'm going to be quicker, I'm not going to show as many steps. I really just want to show off how I do some of the speed painting techniques on it that I haven't covered already. So yellow is a really tricky color to speed paint with. If I was to just put yellow right over this black and white zenithal highlighting I have, the yellow, once it mixes with the black, is going to get kind of greeny looking. That's just what yellow does over black. It'll get a green sheen. And then over the white, you're going to get a very bright yellow, even with the choice of ink I use. So what we're going to be using it for this is Liquitex ink again, and this is their yellow-orange. So, you know, not a bright yellow color by any stretch of the imagination, but even that is going to get super bright yellow if we put it over that. So, we've got to tone it down. So, when I do the banner, that'll be an upcoming tutorial. We're going to go through how to actually do a slower pace painting of it to get a very nice yellow. And this will be sort of like what I did when I was painting up House Clegane. I spent a lot more time on his yellows, especially the mountain that rides. But for the troops, I think it's okay to go a little faster because we've got a lot of troops, especially if you kickstarted this. I want to get them colored and painted and on the battlefield, and I really don't want to wait around for me to get around to painting something very nice. Alright, so to get into things. So if you are going to paint stuff yellow in this method, you could think about it more than I did when I was priming these, and instead of going with black, I would go with a chocolate brown, like a nice deep, I would go burnt umber type color. So go with a nice deep brown. P3, if you're going to spray that, I would go with Battlefield Brown or their Umbral Umber. I'm not sure what it would be in the Badger line. That's what I tend to airbrush with because they're fairly well mixed. So whatever it is, dark brown. And then over that I would do a dusting of a, depending if you want a more orangey yellow, I would go with like a burnt sienna color. If not, I would go with like a very standard, I would say, like blood cracker brown. I would spray that, and then for your highlights on there, instead of going with straight white, go with something that's got a little bit more tan to it, like maybe a Menoth white base. And if you have that kind of color set up, yeah, you can just put the yellow right over the top of it. I didn't plan, so we're going to try to work around that. So to work around that, we are going to use the Citadel, what is that, Fugan Orange. I bought it specifically for this. I never thought I was going to use an orange glaze / shade, but it seems to work on this. So I'm just going to go ahead and load up our brush, and we are going to take the areas on this model that we want to be yellow, and we are just going to slather this on. Now it's okay if more of it runs into the dark recesses because we want those to get a darker brown, but you do want a little bit of it to stay up top too, because we don't want that super bright yellow. We want it to be oranger, a more subtle yellow for the Cleganes. We're just going to go ahead and put this on there. Alright, and I'm going to do, do I want the legs yellow? Let's do one leg yellow. We'll do the other one in black and have him wearing a two-tone for his padded cuisses here. Alright, there we go. And go ahead and hit the cloth here. Everything that's painted. Alright. Okay, so we cut in our orange, and one step down, quite a few steps to go. So I'm going to be pausing this, and I will show you on the second coat. If you're doing a line of troops, this is a lot easier, because if we're working on a line of troops, we can keep going over our models and go to the next model, and then by the time we get back, this might be dry. But I'm doing one single model, so I don't have that luxury. But luckily I've got a hairdryer here right next to me. You guys don't want to see me hair dry, so I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and we will come back as soon as I've got this dry, and we'll put on another coat. Alright, we are back, and I have mostly dried that first coat of orange. So we're going to go ahead and reshade it again with the orange. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back. You can see we've got a little bit of orange there, but we want it a little stronger than that. So we're just going to come ahead and come in here and brush it down again. Really try to get that to tint to orange. Because once the yellow goes over that, the yellow ink is going to be a much stronger color. And it's going to take that orange and push it into yellow. Let's go ahead and keep on going. You might be asking yourself, how do I have so much useless knowledge when it comes to color theory and how pigments work? It's not just from painting miniatures. I wasted a whole bunch of time going to art school way back in the day. But look, if you want those kind of skills and you don't want to pay for it because you're just painting miniatures, I'm here to help. Because boy, was that a waste of time. Not that my second degree is worth anything else, but okay. There we go. Not that historians get paid a lot of money either. Alright, so we've got orange all the way around. Alright, we're going to go ahead and pause this, and next we're going to start going into our yellows. Alright, hello, we are back, and yeah, I don't need to say hello because it's probably all going to be spliced together into the same tutorial, but we have gone ahead and hurried up the drying process on that orange, and now we're going to start working on our yellow glaze. So, like I said at the beginning, we're using that Liquitex orange yellow ink. We're going to take some of the ink into our brush, and we want to make sure that we have a damp brush for this because we're glazing and I don't want it pooling. So we're going to go ahead and start in the back, and we're going to just start brushing in the yellow. And when you're doing this yellow glaze, being that we've already worked on turning the shadows brown because of orange and black turning brown, we can have a nice muted yellow and still have some decent bright highlights. There's still a little wet down there. Where it was really puddling right there, it's still kind of wet. I don't know if I can get it. The light in here is horrible today. It's overcast, and that means my lights aren't quite doing what I want them to do. But it's still kind of wet down there, so we're going to come back to that spot. And go ahead and hit this with yellow. Turn that a little yellow. I need some more yellow. I don't think this was as dry as I thought it was. Don't want the yellow to pool into the crevices because then the shadows will stop reading as shadows. Hit that leg. A little bit more. You guys can't see that. That's going to be totally in shadow for you under the sword. That's okay. You see the technique. Hit that just a little bit more. Alright, so there we go. Mostly just one coat on there. If you're happy with it right here, that's a pretty good yellow. I would feel fine putting that on my table. So if that's where you want your Clegane yellow to sit, good job, we're done. I'm going to go ahead and dry this, and we're going to come right back and we're going to do a second coat of the yellow to make it pop just a little bit more. You know, I think this would be a lot easier if I lived in Arizona. I wouldn't have to worry about drying my minis like that. By the time I got to the next one, it would be dry. But yeah, that Games Workshop's stuff is taking a long time to dry. The ink, though, we're going very light with, so that takes almost no time. That's why I was able to kind of put a second coat on here while I was talking before. But yeah, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and readjust my brush. I saw it's looking a little crazy there. A little catterwampus, I guess. Right. And I'm looking in the shadow right here. It's looking kind of gray right in there, so I'm going to go ahead and get some of my yellow down in there. Alright, and there we are, just a little more pop to our yellow. Crevice. I'll pull that back out. There we go. Alright. So there we go. Second coat of yellow. Maybe a little bit more behind the sword where you guys can't see. Okay, it's not like anybody when I'm playing is going to really see that spot either, but go ahead and cover that. But there we go. One yellow speed painted. That is the fastest way I know to get yellow over a black and white model. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to next go into a separate tutorial where we're going to look at the same model, and we're going to look at how to paint Clegane corroded armor, we'll call it that. So I don't think they keep their armor the cleanest, so we're going to do something that looks kind of beat up, but not covered in rust and corrosion, because that's kind of ridiculous. So I'll be back with that, and that'll be on a different video, so I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you stick around for the next tutorial.